been told this map, and I quote, defined the extent of the 100-year ARI flood and was used in the assessment of the land division. Now, I believe available evidence shows the map does not define the extent of the floodplain, nor does it claim to have done so. We are not told how or why the map was used in the assessment or what specific role the map played in the assessment. How could that map have defined the extent of the 100-year floodplain when it's clearly marked approximate extent 100-year ARI floodplain? How can a map at the same time be both approximate and definitive? Surely the concept of a defined approximation is contradictory. If something is defined, it cannot be approximate. Or if it's approximate, it can't be defined. They're mutually exclusive. How can a map which says approximate be taken to be a defining statement?
In my opinion, this is a deliberate, blatant lie by current planning staff who are very qualified and would certainly know if a map defined the extent or didn't define the extent of a floodplain. The true map that defines the extent of the floodplain is explained by the hydrologist who did all the work, and he explained it's a map that should be used for assessment purposes. The true map is 999254, and that has a much larger floodplain. And inside that floodplain, that larger floodplain, there are developments approved, houses and sheds, by earlier staff. So in order to protect earlier staff, I believe current staff have simply lied to elected members and the public, and this is at great cost to the ratepayers. Because the ratepayers, they've lost all this, every bit of this flooded land here, and this is only a 1 in 10 year flood. Imagine a 1 in 100 year flood that should belong to the people of Victor Harbor as reserve. This was a flooding hazard precaution. The precaution now removed. Then I asked for the investigation scope, which had stopped with the original subdivision. I asked for that to be expanded out to include Lot 25 and all other developments along this floodplain. I was given assurances that it would.
The investigation is still ongoing and has not been completed as yet.
Well, the barristers and special counsel spent well over a year on it, and finally they've just came back to me and they've said, no, we're not investigating Lot 25. You have nothing to do with it. Therefore, we are not going to investigate it. Now, meanwhile, they've just allocated around $1 million to buy back 2 properties with serious issues, but they're refusing to investigate the other 6 or 7. Lot 25 being one of the most important, especially for ratepayers.
100 ARI floodline. ARI means or stands for average recurrence interval. Land outside the floodline was to be made available for sale, provided it complied with certain conditions, but land inside the floodline was to be set aside as a reserve under the control of council. All land inside